Hello again.
This is the second part
Of our trilogy.
on making the kitchen countertop.
So hopefully you enjoyed watching the first one where we put all the wood together and glued it all together, and this one we are now going to, sink the sink into it.
Chop a hole in the wood.
Yeah, which took half the video actually. Again, it's quite a long complicated one with lots of measuring. We had Liam, which was really nice, and so he helped John to measure how the sink is going to fit in. And
yeah, in cutting it, one of the mistakes that I made was I was using a jigsaw, and I didn't let the jigsaw do the work. I was, especially going around corners and that, I was tending to force the blade rather than just gently turn the jigsaw. And the implication, what's happened there, is that the tip of the blade has bent in slightly, so the wood, the cut of the top and bottom is not a very good cut, and it's not a very straight cut, but it still all fits together, and
it's hidden anyway.
It adds, yeah, it adds some character to the van. Yeah. I'm not a carpenter, and so getting these nice round cuts and that is, you need practice at it. And when after the, maybe not the next van, but the van after that.
What, we're making a third van?
Well, we have to if this is just a practice run. Yeah.
No, but you can do other woodwork when we're in Canada.
But that's what it's about, is getting that, all the testing done. The other thing is, you see us sitting on the bed here. Today we went to have the conversion of the van done, and so we are now proudly registered as a motorhome,
as opposed to
a cargo van.
Yes.
And so the implication of that is that we can now actually put windows in the van.
Yes.
But it was a very simple process. The inspector came in, saw that there was a bed in the van, and that was all he looked for, and which was great. I did have a long conversation with the inspector and the supervisor about different aspects of it, but that was more just out of conversation rather than actually an inspection. So yeah, we're very happy with that, and it allows us to get a move on now and look at adding all the additional bits, which I thought might be an issue, but obviously were not.
In this country they call it a bedroom van.
It was initially going to be called a bedroom van, but in the, about 18 months since we got the permission to do the conversion, they've obviously had other people come in, and they obviously have additional categories now, and one category was motorhome, which they decided was more appropriate, which also suits us, because traveling around Europe and that, to try and explain what a bedroom van is just doesn't sort of fit, whereas a motorhome is quite an acceptable term.
It's becoming a little bit more popular. We actually met a family, they busy doing a bus, and they're going to be leaving soon. They're in Dubai, and you can check them on. They're on Instagram,
and we'll put the link in the description. The hashtag is 8 feet,
6 wheels,
and 6 wheels, because they're 4 of them, husband and wife and 2 kids, so that's the 8 feet, and the bus has got 6 wheels.
So please follow them as well, because they're also going on a very exciting journey. As we've mentioned before, vanning in the UAE is not very popular. It's not like the UK or Canada or America, where every second household is doing it. And so we get very excited when we find other people in this country doing the same as we are.
As soon as we hear about them, we're try and contact them as quickly as we can. So
And that's all waffle from us because we're
Yeah,
really waffling.
we're out of time now.
Okay, all right.
The picture's gone black.
Yes, hopefully there's still something there.
Okay, enjoy it. Please ask your friends to subscribe. If you haven't, please subscribe. And
See you in the next one, because the next one is number 3.
Yeah.
Coming out soon.
Really?
Yes.
In a trilogy?
In a
Only
trilogy.
3?
Yes, number 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Bye.
Bye.
Still working on the countertop. I'm busy sanding it. You can see this is where I have sanded. There's still slight marks I need to get out there. This is totally unsanded so far. This joint, you can see I've removed the glue with the chisel here and just tried to skim some of this off. So I'm going to plane this. So I want it to look like that. So you just see the thin line of the glue, and there's no glue in the outside of the joint. Let's see if it's going to fit there. I have my doubts, but we will try. It's not going to fit under here with this in place, and that's a problem. So I need a slightly thinner piece, because I need that to go under there so I can mark it properly to actually position here. Okay, let's come up with a plan. In trying to place the sink in its position that it's going to go, I've come across a problem here, in that drain there, excuse the shaking, the drain is touching up against that. Now I've got about 2 centimeters that it could move that way if I drilled that or cut that out, which I think I'm going to do, which will give me 2 centimeters extra here, just to give this wood along here a bit more strength. Unfortunately, this is as far back as it'll go because of this frame there, so it's going to be quite a narrow strip there, but the bed frame comes over here, so in moving that back a little to give me that sort of distance would make that a bit stronger. So I'm going to need to cut that out there. The problem I've got is only 2 centimeters on that side, so using the jigsaw to cut it, the blade, I've got to be careful that the blade, when it goes to its longest, doesn't hit that slider there, that black slider. So I'm going to actually have to keep the jigsaw away and try and cut. Let's see how we go. Work, I'll have to come up with another plan. Okay, try number 2. I'm going to use a grinder on the tip of the drill. That around. everything out. Now I'll change to a more cylindrical grinder and smooth that sharp edge out. Now that works. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Good. Inside. Right up against that. There you go. Yeah, that gives us a reasonable clearance all round. It's not going to touch or squeak. It's not the cleanest of cuts, but it's not going to be visible. So it'll do. Okay, the next thing now is to mark the position of the sink on the bottom of the panel, of the wood. Just be able to see, I've marked out the outside of the rim of the sink on here. I've then taken this and put it back in there and checked, and I believe I've got the right place here. There is, it does fit, and the places where there's joints in that, or the, not joints should I say, for instance putting it in on here, that touches the frame which is there, so there is a little bit of a gap, and actually on that frame there's a bit that I can cut off. So I'm not going to cut it yet, but we'll see once I put this in. If it's too close, then I can trim that a little bit, and this, there looks like there's a 2 or 3 millimeter gap between this and the frame as well. So all around I think we're right. Now the next thing I need to do is to mark where I'm going to cut the hole through, because I'm not going to do it on the outside. I'm going to do it about halfway through the lip, so that the piece that is cut out can sit on the sink once the sink is put in and recessed, and it will then give almost full countertop there. The two ideas that I've got, one is to drill a reasonable size hole here and then cut around, and that would mean I would need another hole there, so you'd have 2 finger holes to pull it out. Or I'm going to drill a couple of very narrow, most probably 3mm holes, enough to get my blade in, and then cut it out and actually have a center hole in the slab to be able to pull it out. We'll check with the boss which one she wants then. Okay, let me show you what I've done. So this is the back of the thing, so it comes on this way. Now if you look here, this is the aluminium frame of the drawers coming there. Okay. This is the frame next to the bed.
Yeah.
And that's the frame in no, here's the frame in the front.
So the
there
okay, yeah.
to there. Okay. Now if we fit this in, so that fits there.
Yeah.
If you look look at it, so this point here comes up to there.
Yeah. Okay.
So it will miss the frame.
Yeah.
The inside, that comes here.
Yeah. There.
But
and
it's
there.
got a bit of a curvature in.
Yeah.
Okay, so I still think it'll miss that, but on that frame there's extra bit of aluminium I could trim off there without actually affecting the strength of the frame.
Okay.
If I need to. On the front here, the inside of this comes here.
Okay.
So the bottom of the basin is actually inside the wood. So what I do now is I'm going to cut. So that's the outside frame.
Yeah.
What I've then marked is 1 centimeter in.
For your lip.
Yes. So if we look at this, that's 1 centimeter in there. There. And so the rest is this is what will be showing.
Yeah.
So 1 centimeter, and the cover would then sit on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've then got to cut around that. Now, there were 2 ways of cutting it. One is to drill a biggish hole here and here, and with the thought of using that with your fingers to lift it out. But the issue is that hole is going to land up on there.
Yeah.
So you can't get your finger under it.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is use smaller holes, just enough, most probably 2 or 3 mil holes, just to get my saw in and going.
Yeah.
And then put a bigger hole in the middle,
so you just have the
where
block.
you can go in with your finger and pull it up. Okay. The cut will be at least sort of 2 millimeters thick anyway, and then some sanding to clean it. So those holes, you should be able to get rid of them.
Yeah. Then with here, you're just gonna go the router in this area.
Yes. So once we've cut it, then I'll just recess that for this to fit in. Yeah. Because that needs to go in sort of half the depth of the wood of the block. Yeah.
Then you just gonna put screws there then.
I'm not going to put screws in. What I will then do is build up, get another piece of wood and fit in on top here to
sandwich it.
Yeah, so that and then it'll be level with this.
Yeah.
So I could maybe put a strip of aluminium across there, or here.
Okay.
Here won't work, but maybe over here to actually hold it in place.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can use a flat bar or something with wood underneath to hold it in place. But what I'll also do is I want to put butyl tape
just to
around here to seal it. Yeah. And then once it's in, is potentially put silicone around to seal as well.
More.
Yeah. The problem is the butyl tape is black, so I'd rather have white silicone so you can see. Yeah. And that white silicone will also act as a bit of a support or damper, so that the block on top doesn't rattle. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
All make sense? I think the darker one here is more like. I've tried to use a
Yeah. You should have gone
compass.
You should have gone Cassie's edges.
Oh, she got.
You've got lots of different round edges.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, that
Yeah.
I think is the best way to do it. So the main thing now is to drill straight down to get the starter to go around on it. Okay. Thank you. Should be done. I think there's a little bit there still catching.
It's between. So basically, it's between that and so you just need to add a slight angle.
It's got to be sanded, so don't worry.
No, but so my hand touch the rest. I mean, the back of the board. You said you don't want to wait on this side.
I'll have to plane it. It's too big to fit in the big planer though, so I'm going to have to do it by hand. So, yeah, I've lifted this up.
I know. Are you getting around the edges?
Yeah,
But
maybe a
for
little bit.
These two you're getting around.
Yes, yeah.
And the corners here you get around.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
No, you should always round these corners before you round these corners.
Huh?
Because the rotor is following this grain.
Yeah.
So if you have this rounded, it'll then round with it.
Oh.
And you round that also.
So which corner first?
The vertical corner.
Yeah.
Then you go horizontal. Because it's rolling against the thing, so it'll just roll against that. And so you'll get the perfect rounded edge at the top.
want me to do some?
Yeah.
Typical IKEA. You get your spanners with it. So this puts this and the bottom puts there.
Okay. Quite easily for this.
I'm sure they do. I think they're molded.
This looks like more injection molded. Yeah, it's injection molded. There you go.
So we're going to try this thing.
Yeah. So now you just need what you just gonna put some wood on top, or just
Yeah, wood. Well, here, as I said, this one we can't.
Yeah.
Here we've got a bit of wood with a flat bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a piece of flat bar like that.
Yeah.
2 screws in there.
Mm.
That should support it.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3,
4.
4.
Now you can do one here. We should be able to do one there.
Yeah.
Here you won't because of the beam. Yeah, sort of. That's fine. Out of the way in the camera. Yeah, there we go.
I just line it up with the back. Just line it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's quite a variation. No, I'm not sure.
But
We'll make sure that it's
sealed.
and then this I'm not sure.
Silicone.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, just fill it up with silicone. I mean, silicone the whole thing also anyway.
Yeah. Hey, what?
What? One needs to do at the base.
Place. Draw now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so there's our answer there. It needs to come up by
2
slightly.
mil.
No, I think yeah, well, maybe 5 mil.
Okay.
But that actually would also help
Yeah.
with the unevenness around
Yeah.
there. Yeah, because this is actually lifting there.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I just like this up so you can find that back.
Yeah, it's not quite sitting down on it because of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to do some more. About a millimetre to spare.
That's good. So, yeah. I will. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. So that's done.
Now we just need to varnish everything and then.
Now I've still got to trim these two edges,
Oh, yeah.
and we're going to put 2 holes in for the taps.
Yeah.
Then it can be varnished.
Okay. So you're going to trim all the way or do you give it a lip?
A lip. It's this sort of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go back a bit here.
Okay.
And also a bit of a lip there,
Yeah.
but I then also need to work on the flip up
Yeah.
part.
It will be part of this or slightly lower?
No, hopefully the same level as this, so it'll be
Okay.
effectively an extension.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool.
This edge we don't need to round. This one, that one, just those two
Yeah.
2 corners,
Yeah.
because you've got the bed here.
Yeah.
Okay, so but before we do that, we need to look at this edge now.
Why?
This, well, we've got to trim it
Okay.
because it's not straight yet.
Yeah.
There's a pencil. So it's over here. If we want it, and we should have this should be marked, but we can just do. And then that edge. Good. Is this? Hang on before you do it.
There's a bit of a
That's
lip.
not. That's not square there.
Yeah, so this is supposed to be?
Reasonably.
It's nearly, it's like a millimeter. But then that changes this entire thing too.
Yeah. So,
Can I mark here first? Or?
no, that one I've cut.
Okay.
And so that one's too. So just make sure it's a tight, I mean a dark mark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Right, now we're going to drill the hole for the drinking water tap, and Liam's got the set squares there to try and make sure that my drill goes perpendicular to the wood. look good.
Yeah.
You get to right, yeah, right. Bit more right. Bit more right. Great, thank you. Now we're going to do a 30mm hole here for the drinking water. Not the drinking water, the other water. Or tap water, that water.
There's the center line there.
Yeah. There's a...
You're going to do it by section.
Yeah.
This is where math comes in and use.
Does that look right?
Yeah.
No.
No, it doesn't.
There's something wrong with the...
You didn't do it by section, right?
Oh. Okay, I'll tell you what. That is 37. Half of 37, no, 47 is 23 and a half.
All right.
It doesn't have to be exact.
Yeah.
Because
We've got some wiggle room.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It was just.
Next three straight.
Well, we've got to. It's hot.
Not bad. Oh yeah, it's straight.
Okay. So I'm going to have to grind that out a bit now because the pipe won't fit through there.
Yeah. Or should just go to my stuff and buy a 35.
It's too late now.
Why?
You won't get a 35 in there
Yeah, I know.
because of the taking away the centre.
Yeah.
Covering it.
Are you going to tell me briefly what you've been doing, what you're doing?
Not in detail, and what I'm busy doing is trying to get this to fit in there. This is the top of the sink, and so I've got to get the profile right.
And what are you using for that?
Using a router and various bits and experimenting.
And is it working?
I'm busy experimenting.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do is get it round to meet that profile. Using a circular rasp just to clean up this hole a bit, and we can use this to lift it. Goes in there, and there's enough to just hook your finger at the bottom to get it out. You don't really have to lift it up, it's just that's needed, then you can lift by hand. Use your hand on it. So all I've got to do now is just clean these edges here, just sand them so they're not so sharp and they're not the furry bits on it. And then I've got to resand everything because this has got marks on it for where water splashed on it. So I've got to resand everything and then varnish.